Well, it's us again.
Yeah. Damn these people.
I wonder if they turn on YouTube and go, oh, these two again.
Oh, you guys need to stop. No, we're not stopping. Here's what we are going to do.
We're always going to be.
This is a
We're not going away. This is a requested video.
Yes. And this one is about how do you stand still? How do you...
Well, yeah, let me back you up. Because all these videos and all this, all this runner chaser, ah. What about the person who stands still?
Okay.
The stand stiller, I wanted to call it, but he didn't like it.
The stand stiller.
The stand stiller.
And then I came up with Equalizer, because I think that's what needs to happen. When there are so many different forms of the way that you can look at this, and the way that we like to explain it is more in the human format to help you understand a little bit better, but also kick you right there in your soul, so that way you can see the difference.
Why do you like kicking people?
Well, because sometimes they need a swift kick. The thing about it is that your energy or your spark is not made up of what you think. It's made up of what you are. And what happens is when you come into this world and you go through all of your experiences, because you live life experiences, you live them in a present moment. And as you go through those, you create a separate thought process, or should I say ego, in how you will view the world. It's a very narrow view. And some of you have a view that may be 180 degrees, or maybe even 90 degrees, or maybe 360. The goal is to be 360. 360 in the degree view of your mind is the ability to not become a mind reader, not think about what somebody is trying to say by their actions or their interpretations for the things that they do, but by the ways that they do different things. So when somebody does, let's say that you are enduring rejection or enduring abandonment, whether it been from when you were a child to your relationships to anything, even jobs, careers, doesn't matter what it is. What happens is you create a thought process and associate it with it. Even if it's not happening, you are going to be on guard for that to happen. That's what's defined as a runner or a chaser, because ultimately you created a separate thought process of why somebody is doing something, and you're interpreting it in such a way that you're creating that energy to take place for it to happen. I said that right.
Yes.
So, how do you quiet the mind and just absorb energy? Well, that would be standing still. That would be being in the present moment. That would mean not letting your past dictate your future. And that would mean, how did I word that the other day? Not letting your past pay the price for your destiny.
Right.
So if you can find a way to not let your past pay for the price of your destiny, or suffer, which you can't possibly do in the present moment, because it requires the thought process of thinking what other people think. You stand still, and you just absorb, and you're open.
Be.
Yeah, and you listen to everything, because there's not a separate thought process going on. So, you know, some want to, I'm going to run out and tell this person they're my twin flame and that we're destined to be together, and this is what, and we're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Why don't you just be there for them? Your energy of your presence, of being there for them in the present moment, makes all the difference. It doesn't require you to be in front of their face. It doesn't require you to be anything other than available and open to whatever energy brings to you. Isn't that why people run? Because you create a separate thought process saying, they don't want to be with me. No, I don't deserve it. I don't need it. I is the key word that you're using, and making others responsible for it.
Right. And we hear all the time, they're running. They're obviously running. They're obviously the runner. Clearly, they're the runner. 9 times out of 10, that's not true.
It's funny too, when they get caught, they go,
Yeah.
they start smiling because they're like, wait a minute, how are they running? Well, they're not listening to me, and da-da-da-da, and then we're like, wait, slow down.
What would happen if you stopped running or stopped chasing and just sat still?
I can't do that. I can't do that because I got my running shoes on.
Right.
I need to be running. I need to go because
I'm
they're
scared.
Oh, I have fear.
I'm scared.
I have fear. Fear. Oh my, fear. We need to do a separate video on fear. Fear.
Liar.
Fear is a liar.
Here's a liar. Big, fat, hairy liar. And
Secretly lies to you because you want to lie to yourself because you don't have any other justification for what the other person could be doing.
if you were sitting still and not running or chasing, you were equalizing.
Stand stiller.
Stand stiller. I like it better. I'm sorry. If you were equalizing and being in love with yourself, leave Trevor out of this, and Alan. If you were falling in love with yourself, if you were running after yourself or chasing after yourself, imagine what you would find.
Yeah, that would be the face you make when you find it. Yeah, that face. Because that face says so much. Because when, and that happens too. When we stay still.
Just be
Don't
still.
expect anything. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to chase you for a minute and we're going to run after you. And then they go, well, how are we going to do that? And we say, well, let's look at some things. Let's look at how you're thinking, why you're thinking it, and what proof do you have. Everything is based upon proof in the mind. And in this particular case, it has no proof. It only has the past, which is not proof in the present moment. So what happens is they stop and they stand still and they're like, oh, then they start realizing that. Then all of a sudden this energy from nowhere allows the universe to flow. Because it's not being stopped anymore because nobody's running away from the energy. And the energy comes back and the other person shows up and they're like, and we're like, we told you that would happen.
We don't do I told you so's though.
No.
But I'll tell you straight to your face.
Y'all had it coming.
When we click off the Skype, I'm not looking at Lee going, I told you so. I knew that was going to happen. I told you they was coming back. I don't do that. I'll tell you before we get off Skype. When we get off Skype, I ask Lee to give me something to drink. That's what that's about. This is what we get to. Well, why am I doing all the work?
Let us give you an example.
Why am I doing everything?
Let us give you an example of how, I think we've talked about like when we first met and how Sherry had created a thought process separate from what she would communicate to me in times of being in the present moment with me. Where I was enjoying the present moment, even though I was doing all the other bullshit, being with her was my free. And when she created this separate thought process and kept trying to inject it into the present moment with me, I had to go back and be activated in my thought process, which was always keeping me from the present moment. So it knocked me away, where in case she was the runner originally, I was now infected with the same thing, thinking that I'm going to have a cerebral conversation and communication and relationship, not a connection with her. And I didn't want that because I had freedom. We have freedom in when we can share what we think. We have freedom when we can share what we feel. We have freedom when we can share our dreams. We have freedom when we don't make it what everybody else is saying. We make it what we can say inside of ourselves to each other. That's true freedom. We even in history has never been taught that way. So to go in and do the work to unlearn that is powerful. That's where your true power comes from. True power doesn't come from you doing the work on the outside. It comes from doing the work in here. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
I mean, you could get up and start hitting a pulpit because you're preaching.
No, I'm not trying to preach, but I'm just saying, if there's a part of that that gave you pause, that's the part of you need to listen to, is the pause part. Because the pause part said, wait, stop. And the ego now is going to go, oh shit, we're about to be found out. Well, too late. The ego's found out. The ego is the only thing that's going to keep you in and out of every connection you ever have. The ego does that. Not other people. Not information. Your ego. Because it was trained. Not trained by you. Endured by you. Because the ego goes from generation to generation to generation and gets passed down to us. I mean, it's like a little string. And then you're like the puppet going throughout your entire life based on somebody else's egoic information. Mm-hmm. Remove that. You don't need it.
Where does the equalizer play a part in that?
Huh?
I hear a question.
Oh, what was the question?
How does the equalizer play a part in that?
The equalizer goes...
Or the standstiller, whatever.
The standstiller.
I'm not the runner or the chaser. I'm the standstiller.
If you could find a light switch in your mind, I would say turn it on.
I was the standstiller, and I'm going to tell you when I was. For those of you watching our journey, you will know when this was. You were the standstiller once.
I was the standstiller the whole time. After 5 years. Really, it was 5 years. It took me 5 years to find out what that meant.
When,
Standstiller.
I mean, that's funny.
Equalizer.
Okay, the equalizer.
Standstiller.
I think it's funny. Okay. So, it's funny. If you say it, it's just funny to say.
You know, if I was Alex Trebek and this was a Jeopardy moment, never mind.
I shouldn't hit my buzzer?
No, you really shouldn't.
Okay. Well, when Lee and I separated after our tryst in the bedroom the first time. I say tryst, I don't know what that means. But after that happened and he left for 2 years, I was the equalizer. I stood still. Just stood still. I went on about my life. I didn't stop. The standstiller doesn't mean you stand still and you just wait. That's not what it means. It means...
Amen.
That's not what it means. It means you don't pick up the phone looking to see if somebody's texted or looking to see if they've called or checking emails or continuously checking if they've logged in or logged out or seeing if they're online or offline or driving by their house or driving by their job or any of that. That's not what that means. It means just being. If that means dating, if that means getting in another relationship, if that means just being. Just being. That's not running, that's not chasing, that's just being. And that's where I was at that point and when I met Ron. Then when Lee and I reconnected and he was off still doing his extracurricular activity, and at that point I had Cameron and my marriage was in the shitter, and Lee was out doing his thing. I was being still. I was just being his friend, just his friend. I wasn't pushing for a relationship. I wasn't pushing for anything. I wasn't running around telling him that I was going to leave to be the chaser. I was just being his friend. If he wanted to talk to me about a woman that he was seeing and the problems that they were having, I listened to him. I went in the bedroom after we got off the phone and beat the shit out of a pillow, but I listened to him. He didn't know that. I was just standing still, just being his friend. And sometimes you really have to be somebody's friend without expectation and without judgment or jealousy or love. You can love them unconditionally as a friend and be there for them, even if it's your twin. Sometimes the foundation is the fact that there's trust issues, and you know that this person you can trust to be there no matter what it is. And I was the standstiller. You've been the standstiller. You stood still for a whole year while I was busy.
I stood still longer than that.
You did, quite a few times.
I stood still and came into this out of 2009 and was there for her. I didn't judge, I didn't ask for a relationship, but the pull became great because I wasn't asking for anything. I was just being. And please, don't try to understand being. Not in here. Being has nothing to do with that. Being is the essence of the soul, being in the present moment, enduring whatever it has to endure and not holding on to it for any reason. It doesn't create a story out of it. This does. So please, don't try to go and look up what does being mean or what is being. Being is your true essence that you can experience now. When I stood still, when I had presence, it was because the relationship to the self became a love relationship. It was no longer seeking the principles of pain because it was holding on to pain and embracing it and falling in love with it and seeing what it was birthing through. And it really gave us a stronger foundation because the communication stayed intact. The communication is not, I don't know if I can keep doing this and I can bear this and I can put through that and do this. We put each other through hell. The communication was the only thing that saved us. The communication was the only way we could understand how to talk to one another.
The truth in communication.
My mind does not translate what she's going to say. My mind doesn't go, what does she mean by that? My mind doesn't do that. If your mind does these things, you're running. You're chasing. You're definitely not the standstiller.
I made that up. And we're copywriting that, so don't even think about it. When you're standing still, there's the confusion is less. And I'm going to explain that a little bit. If you feel that you know who your twin is, and you're full of confusion, and you're reaching out to everybody you can, I want to throw this out there. Nobody can tell you if that person is your twin or not. Nobody should be telling you if that is your twin or not. Only you know in your soul if that person is the person that you are spiritually connected to in this way. Only you know if that's your twin. If you have doubt, that brings on confusion. There should be no doubt. You know in your knower. Your twin could be married with 20 kids and 20 on the way. Your twin could be a celebrity who has no idea that you exist. Your twin could be anybody, anywhere. If you feel that connection, nobody should tell you that is not your twin. Only you know if it is or if it isn't.
And the only thing I would add to that is I'm going to take the word twin and I'm going to throw it over that cliff over there. And I'm going to tell you, if you're connected to somebody, nobody can tell you who you're not connected to.
Exactly.
So the word that is amplified in this particular aspect is connected.
Connected.
Connection is vibrational. Nobody feels the vibration but you. And that is the most powerful truth you can experience regardless of anybody else. You and that other entity that feels the same experience as you, that's it. Don't make this about, well, I just don't. No. Shh. Quiet. Stand still. I felt it. I know what it was. I know what it is. I'm connected. Now understand what the connection is trying to tell you. Because it's trying to tell you, first of all, if it has pain involved in it, you're not connected to yourself because you haven't birthed through what the connection's trying to tell you. 2, the silence. The emptiness of the mind being poured out and saying, yeah, we don't know what this is. Let's not try to label it. Let's not try to make it something else. Let's not try to make it a story. Let's not try to say that we're damaged. Let's not. Silence. The most powerful energy there is. It's the only place where you can really truly find God.
The stand stiller.
The stand stiller.
There certainly is a better word, but copyright.
Equalizer.
The equalizer.
The equalizer. I
Yes.
think that that's important because it's balanced energy of feminine and masculine energy. It doesn't require one to be more powerful than the other. We switch energy all the time because sometimes you need certain energy in one that you can have in the other. And it's very enlightening to learn different aspects of that. If you're not balancing that energy in yourself, believe me, because it does happen. I mean, I think all of us, our soul family, have really talked about how we balance that and how, like Eileen and Trevor, one will stay in that energy at all times, and predominantly, Trevor's in the masculine and Eileen's in the feminine, and then Alan and Sandra switch just like we do, and part of it is the healing process because they healed before they came into union. We're healing coming into union, and there's a whole lot. There's a difference in the dynamic, but the balance is the same. That's why that energy resonates with one another, and that's why our family is just so close knit. And we know this family's supposed to grow. We feel it. We know that there are unions out there that are coming into union, and you probably even watched us. You've watched them. You've watched, and you're supposed to be a part of this. Maybe not with the same structure, but you're supposed to be. Running from it or attacking it or anything else is not standing still. Stand still. See what the energy's trying to tell you. We're all made up of positive and negative energy.
There is no pride.
Yeah, pride goes away with judgment.
Yeah. Pride and,
Pride
and
goes with
judgment and anarchy.
Oh, I love that show.
And
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong episode.
any type of prejudice or superiority. Is that a word?
Yeah, it's kind of like discrimination.
Or here's another, know-it-all-isms
Know what?
at all.
No, there is no such thing.
Yeah.
There's only knowing, but
Right.
and knowing doesn't really need the purpose of know it all.
None of that there's no room for any of that
No.
in this spiritual journey.
Well,
or their
would you say,
soul family, twin flame union.
would you say that egoic minds that attack create the chasing, the running,
Yes.
the discrimination, the bickering, the pointing at others and
Yes.
saying they're wrong and I'm right? All of these things that really just kind of try to, I don't know, try to lessen the factor of disbelief to create a new belief system that is united in a different way. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. And I think what happens is it ends up impacting and affecting the lies that are already in place.
Right.
It never gets to the truth. And the truth is outlined inside of you, not outside of you.
There it is.
Well,
As Cameron would say.
well. Where did he get the twang?
I don't know.
It's not me or Ron.
I don't know. Well.
Well, we love you guys. We
We're
wanted
losing daylight here.
to... No, not in there.
I don't know how
No.
that's working.
Yeah, it actually has that lighting system.
I don't know.
It's an awesome camera.
I don't know anything about it.
I love Canon.
I know nothing about it.
No, they're not gonna help us. Anyway, so we hope this video was helpful.
Yes.
From the standpoint that stand still.
Be the equalizer.
Yeah, equalize your life. Equalize your relationship to yourself. Because if you balance it out and not make it about the outside world, you'll make it about the inside world, which you can control.
Yeah.
It's always been your universe. It's the universe that you get to play within, that you have this experience in. And you get to have it now.
Stand stiller. Be the stand stiller. I'm copywriting that. If I hear anybody else saying it, I'm coming to you. Alan?
Alan. I love Alan. We love you, Soul Family. And
Yeah,
we
we
love
do.
all of you too. Thank you guys for watching this
Thanks
video.
for watching.
If you have questions,
I'm a stand stiller.
yes. If you have questions, please find us. We will talk to you all soon.
Be still.
Yeah.
Just be. It's so peaceful.
Yeah. Be now.
And it's loving.
Be now. And remember,
There's no judgment in the now.
Yeah.
There's no judgment in the stand stiller.
or in the state of being.
Right.
Yeah, it's a state.
Yeah.
It's not in the United States. It's not in Canada. It's not in Australia. It's not in Europe.
There's no checking emails. There's
It's in
no
here.
checking text messages. There's no obsessive compulsive checking up on, seeing what they're doing.
No.
See, there's none of that in being still.
There's your state of being. Here.
Yes.
Here.
There is unconditional love
In you.
within.
Point to myself. Point to yourself. Point. There you go.
Yes.
That's the way you do it. That's being.
That's
Without thinking.
right.
We love you. Bye.